Wait! Before we start, do you want a bundle of 30 printable English PDF cheat sheets? Teaching you words and phrases for conversations for free? Then click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get access.
Okay, recording's on. Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the Pass. I'm at the farmer's market in Baltimore. It's loud, it's busy, and it's very hot today. Today I'm buying food. I need ingredients for my new restaurant in DC. I want to find special local vegetables and... Oh no, not her.
Brian! Brian!
Hi, Mom. What are you doing here?
What do you mean? I'm shopping. I have to cook dinner for many people tonight. And put away your phone. You look like a tourist.
I'm not a tourist, Mom. I'm working. I'm making a video for my restaurant. People want to see the food.
See the food? You're standing in the way. Move, please. Look at these peppers. These are good. Very hard and fresh.
Those? Mom, those are normal peppers. Come here. Look at these ones. They are twisted. They look funny. That's character.
Character? I don't want funny peppers, Brian. I want to cut them easily. You young chefs, you like ugly vegetables.
It's not ugly, Mom. It's farm to table.
Oh, please. Farm to table? All food comes from a farm. Where else does it come from?
It means knowing the farmer. It's personal.
I know the farmer. That's Earl. He is right there. Hi, Earl. See, he waved at me. I've been buying vegetables from Earl for 20 years. We don't talk about farm to table. We just call it cooking.
But people want a story, Mom. Like, look at these tomatoes. The purple ones. Look at the color. I'm gonna serve them raw. Just the tomato and some salt.
They are too soft, Brian. Feel this? It'll be mushy later. I need these red tomatoes. They're strong. They make good sauce.
The red ones are boring. They have no flavor.
They're cheap and they don't break. You charge $20 for a tomato salad. My customers want a big hot stew. Not a science lesson.
It's not science, it's respect. I'm teaching my young staff. Flavor starts in the dirt.
You're teaching them to be difficult. A real chef can take a normal vegetable and make it taste good. If you need the perfect tomato, maybe you can't cook.
Ouch. Okay, that hurts. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about the greens.
Good. I need collard greens and kale.
I see the kale. I want to use this dark kale. I'll put lemon oil on it. I'll serve it raw.
Raw? Kale is very hard, Brian. You need to cook it. You need heat. You need time. Cook it with some ham.
See, that's the old style. Cook it until it's gray.
Excuse me? Not gray. Soft. It's delicious. And the juice at the bottom? That's the best part.
It tastes good, yes, but it's heavy. My friends and I, we want the crunch. We want bright colors. I'll cook this in the pan for 30 seconds. Done.
And then your customers chew on one leaf for 10 minutes. Look, I understand. You want it to look pretty for the photo.
It's not just for the photo, Mom. It's about the...
The soul? The soul of the food is to make people full. You make everything difficult, son. Just like your mother.
Huh. You got your helmet? Did you ride your bike here?
Of course. Parking is terrible. And I need the exercise. Talking to people all day makes me tired. You make me tired too.
I'm helping. I'm teaching. Look at this root. Celery root.
Ugly thing. It tastes okay if you mash it like potatoes.
Mash it? No. I'll bake it with salt. Then I'll cut it very thin. It's for a vegetable plate.
A vegetable plate. Just say salad, Brian.
It's marketing, Mom. You have to sell the idea.
I sell the steak. Speaking of steak, are you coming to the meat stand?
Yeah, I need to ask them about the beef.
Make sure it's fresh. I need 5 pounds of beef for meatloaf.
Meatloaf? Mom, it's July. It's very hot.
People are hungry in July too, Brian. Not everyone wants foam.
It's not foam. It's sauce. Okay, question. For your meatloaf, how do you make it?
I use meat with fat. If there's no fat, it's dry. And I use old bread with milk.
Bread and milk. See? You use a French technique.
I use my grandmother's technique.
That's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Farm to table is just grandma's cooking.
Then why is your food so expensive?
Because it costs money to do it the right way. Earl needs money.
I pay Earl in cash. I don't need a website to buy carrots.
You're impossible. Typical Virgo. Everything must be your way.
And you're a Leo. All show. Look at me. Look at my purple carrot.
It's a beautiful carrot.
It tastes like a carrot. Come on, let's get some peaches.
Okay, peaches are good. Smell that? They smell like flowers. That smells like summer.
Yes. Now, are you going to make foam with these? Or can we make a pie?
I want to grill them. Grilled peaches with cheese.
That sounds good. Salty and sweet.
Wait, did you just say you like my idea?
Don't get excited. It's just cheese and fruit. It's easy.
I'll take it. Hey, are you cooking for Dad tomorrow?
Yes, Sunday dinner. Are you coming? Or are you too busy?
I'm never too busy for free food. What are we eating?
Well, I have the meatloaf, but I saw some nice fish.
Local fish? That's good for the ocean.
I just like the taste, Brian.
Can I come early? I'll cook the fish, you cook the vegetables.
Don't bring your tweezers into my kitchen.
No tweezers, I promise. Just a pan and fire. I want to make the skin crispy.
If you burn the skin, I'll order pizza.
Deal. But let me buy the tomatoes, the ugly ones.
Why?
Because I want to make tomato juice for the fish. We squeeze the ugly tomatoes. The clear juice is delicious.
Tomato juice. So you're paying money for juice?
It's flavor, Mom. It's the soul of the tomato.
You know what? Fine. You make your juice. I'll make corn pudding.
Corn pudding and fish? That's a good dinner.
See? I know how to cook.
I know you do. You taught me. Even if you're stubborn.
I'm not stubborn. I'm consistent. There is a difference.
Okay, consistent. Wait, look at the mushrooms.
Brian, let's go.
No, look! These mushrooms are amazing. They're good for the planet.
I cook mushrooms all the time. They taste like dirt. In a good way.
I want to make them into a powder and put the powder on the fish.
Powder? You want to feed your father dust?
It's a spice. It makes it taste better.
Salt and pepper make it taste better. Why do you make it complicated?
Because simple is boring. I need to do something new. My friends want something new. If I give them a grilled mushroom, they don't care. If I give them mushroom powder, they say, wow.
And that's the problem. You cook for the eyes. When people come to my shop, they eat. They wipe their mouth and say, "Wow, that was good." That's the only review I care about.
Okay, fair point. But can we do both? Can it be beautiful and tasty?
Only if you respect the food first.
I know. You're the chef. The boss.
That's right. Now buy the mushrooms. Whole, not powder.
Fine. Whole mushrooms. Cooked with butter?
With butter. And a little thyme.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now help me carry these bags. or I'll hit you with this zucchini.
Violence is not the answer.
In the kitchen, sometimes it's the only answer.
You're scary, Mom.
I raised you, didn't I?
That was a hard job.
You were a picky eater. I don't like peas. They're mushy.
Because they were from a can. Fresh peas are good.
Oh no. The peas again.
Well, I'm okay now. I have my own restaurants.
I'm proud of you, Brian. Even with your weird hair.
It's cool hair.
It looks like you forgot to finish cutting it.
Okay. Let's go home. The ice is melting.
Turn off the recording.
Got it. Signing off. We're making... what do we call it?
We call it dinner.
Heritage Modern Fusion Dinner.
Just pick up the bag, Brian.
All right. Later the next day, the kitchen was crazy. Mom used her old heavy pans. I used my new sharp tools. We're very different. For her, food is love. For me, it's art. But when the fish was ready, sitting next to her corn pudding, it worked. It was delicious. We didn't talk. We just ate. Sometimes, a good dinner fixes everything. And she said the tomato juice wasn't terrible. I'm happy with that. Join us next week. I'll try to teach her about fermentation. Spoiler alert, she thinks it's just rotting food.
Brian, are the dirty dishes in the sink?
I'm letting them soak!
Get in here and wash them!
Wow, it's certainly quiet in here. It's like a different world from the street outside.
That's the first thing I noticed when I bought the place. Welcome to the Triple Almond Building, Margaret. I'm glad you found it okay.
It wasn't too hard. The map on my smartphone was very accurate. Nice to finally meet you in person, Robert.
Great to meet you too. Please, call me Rob. Did you drive here?
No, I took the metro. I'm still learning the city. I'm from New Jersey originally, so the layout of DC is a little confusing for me right now.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. I'm from Chicago, so I missed the grid system for a long time. But DC has a great charm. Shall we go up? I'm on the top floor.
The penthouse?
Well, technically yes, but it's just a really nice apartment with a great view. After you. This elevator is actually high speed. It's the fastest in the district.
Oh? I hope my ears don't pop.
It's very smooth. You won't feel a thing. So, Margaret, you mentioned you're a nurse?
That's right. I'm with the university hospital. I'm doing an international exchange program right now. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
That sounds intense. My schedule is pretty crazy too, but in a different way. I work in digital finance, blockchain technology.
Oh, like that digital money people talk about on the news?
Exactly. It never sleeps, so neither do I. That's why I made sure this apartment is perfect for relaxing when I actually do get a break. Here we are, Unit 12A. Everything is keyless. You just use a code or an app on your phone.
That's convenient. No more losing keys at the bottom of my bag.
Exactly. Come on in. Welcome to your potential new home.
Oh my goodness. Robert, this is spacious.
It is, isn't it? It's an open concept design. I wanted the living room, the dining area, and the workspace to flow together.
And the light. Look at those windows.
Floor to ceiling glass. You get the sunrise in the morning. Watch this. House. Privacy mode off.
You can talk to the curtains?
You can talk to almost everything in here. The lights, the temperature, the music. It's a fully integrated smart home. It fits my lifestyle. I like things efficient.
It's beautiful. But can I ask a practical question?
Of course, ask anything.
Does it get hot with all this glass?
That's a good question. The glass is treated to block UV rays. Plus, the central air conditioning is very powerful. It stays cool.
That's good. I work long shifts, sometimes at night. When I come home, I just want to be comfortable.
I totally understand. Comfort is key. That's actually why I'm leasing the place. I'm looking at buying a tennis club nearby, and I might travel more for my investments. I want someone responsible to enjoy this space while I'm gone.
A tennis club? Do you play?
I try to. I'm still learning. Do you play sports?
Not really. My job keeps me on my feet all day. But I do like handcrafting. Knitting, sewing, that sort of thing. It helps me relax.
That's cool. You need good lighting for that, right? Well, you have plenty here. Let me show you the kitchen. Here it is, the chef's station.
Oh, it's very modern.
Isn't it? Italian marble countertops, induction stove, and look at this fridge. It's hidden behind this panel.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
It blends right into the wall.
Exactly. Minimalist design. Keeps everything looking clean.
It's very sleek, Rob. But where are the cabinets?
The cabinets? They are right here. You just push to open.
I see. They are a bit shallow, aren't they?
Well, they are designed for the essentials. I usually order food delivery or eat out, to be honest. I don't do a lot of heavy cooking.
Ah, that might be a challenge for me. I cook almost every day. It's healthier, and like I said, I like making things with my hands. I have a lot of pots, pans, and baking supplies.
I see. You could store the larger items in the pantry closet near the entrance. It's quite big.
Maybe. I'd have to walk back and forth. But this counter space is lovely. I could definitely spread out my ingredients here.
And it's stain resistant. So if you spill tomato sauce, no problem.
That's a very important feature for a nurse. We appreciate cleanliness. What is this machine here?
That's the crown jewel, the espresso machine. It's connected to the Wi-Fi. You can order it to brew a cappuccino while you are still in bed.
Okay, now you are speaking my language. Coffee is essential for my shifts.
I'll leave the machine here for you. It's part of the lease.
That's a big plus. Okay, the kitchen is small, but the coffee machine helps. What about the noise? We are right in the city center.
Let's go to the bedroom. I'll show you. This is the master suite. King-sized bed, memory foam mattress. And notice the silence?
It's very quiet in here.
Triple-paned glass, soundproof walls. I need total focus when I'm reading my comic books or trading at night, so soundproofing was a priority.
You read comic books?
Yeah, it's my guilty pleasure. I have a huge collection in the study. I'm actually moving them to storage, so you'll have that room for whatever you want.
A spare room? That's fantastic. I could turn that into my craft room.
Exactly, a sewing room. It has great shelves.
And the closet space here in the bedroom?
Walk-in closet, right through there.
Oh, wow. This is bigger than my first apartment in New Jersey.
I told you, it's all about the lifestyle. You can fit a lot of uniforms in here.
And regular clothes, too. I do have a life outside the hospital.
Of course. Speaking of outside, let's talk about the neighborhood. Do you know this area well?
Not really. I know the hospital is about 3 miles away.
Right. So for your commute, you have a few options. The metro station is just 2 blocks over. It's a straight shot to the medical center.
That's convenient. What about safety? If I come home late?
This area is very safe. There's 24-hour security in the building lobby, and the street is well lit. There are always people around because of the restaurants.
Are there grocery stores nearby, since I plan to cook?
There is a large organic market on the corner. It's a bit pricey, but the quality is amazing. And there is a regular supermarket about a 10-minute walk away.
That's manageable. I like walking.
There is also a great park nearby, perfect for jogging or just sitting on a bench. And if you like tennis,
I think I'll leave the tennis to you, Rob. But a park sounds nice.
So, what do you think so far? I know the kitchen is a bit minimalist for a baker.
The kitchen is the only worry. But the light in the living room, and that walk-in closet, and the quiet bedroom, it balances out.
I really think you'd like the smart features too. It makes life so much easier.
I am willing to try. I'm not very tech-savvy, but I can learn.
I can leave you a manual, or just show you. It's really intuitive.
Okay, let's talk about the lease details. You mentioned it comes furnished?
Yes, fully furnished. The sofa, the bed, the dining table, the TVs, everything you see stays. I'm only taking my personal items, my computer, and my comic books.
That's helpful. Moving furniture is a nightmare.
Tell me about it.
What about utilities? Are they included in the rent?
The water and high-speed internet are included. You would just need to pay for the electricity. Since everything is energy efficient, the bill is usually quite low.
That sounds reasonable. And the duration of the lease?
I'm looking for a 12-month lease. I want some stability while I focus on my new business investments.
12 months works for me. That matches my exchange program duration perfectly.
That's great! It feels like destiny.
Let's not jump ahead too fast. I still need to check my budget. The rent you listed online is, well, it's at the very top of my price range.
I understand. It's a premium building. But remember, you're saving money on a gym membership because the building has a gym, and you save on internet.
That's true. And the commute is cheap.
Look, why don't we sit down on the balcony? I can get us some water or an espresso, and we can look at the numbers together.
You really want to show off that coffee machine, don't you?
I really do. It makes the best foam.
Okay, 1 coffee, and we can talk about the deposit.
Have a seat. The view is even better from here.
You were right. You can see the whole city.
It's inspiring, isn't it? It makes you feel like anything is possible.
It makes me feel small, but in a good way.
So, Margaret, be honest. Can you see yourself living here?
I can. I'd have to get creative with my cooking supplies. Maybe buy some rolling carts for the kitchen.
That's a great idea. A rolling island.
Exactly. But the location is perfect for the hospital. And I really need a quiet place to sleep.
Then I think we can make this work. I have a few other people interested, but I prefer renting to a professional like you. You seem respectful of the space.
I would take good care of it. I treat my home like I treat my patients. With care.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Ah, hear that? Your cappuccino is ready.
It's like magic.
It's technology. I'll go grab it. Here you go. Careful, it's hot.
Thank you. Okay. That's delicious.
See? The apartment sells itself.
You are a very good salesman, Rob.
I try my best. So, do you have any questions about the building rules, pets, guests?
Oh, right, guests. My parents might visit from New Jersey for a weekend. Is that allowed?
Absolutely. There's a guest suite on the second floor you can book if you want more privacy, or they can stay here. The sofa turns into a bed.
A sleeper sofa? I didn't notice.
Custom made. Very comfortable.
Perfect. And pets? I don't have one now, but
The building is pet-friendly, but there is an extra cleaning fee and a size limit. No horses.
I think I'll stick to a goldfish. Or maybe a cat.
A cat is fine.
Okay, I think I'm running out of questions.
That's a good sign. So, what is the next step for you?
I need to go home and calculate my monthly expenses. I want to make sure I can afford the rent and still save a little money.
Smart. Never rush a financial decision.
Exactly. Can I let you know by tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning works. I can hold the listing until then.
That would be wonderful. Thank you, Rob.
No problem. I have a good feeling about this.
Me too. It's a very special place.
It is. I'm gonna miss it, honestly. But it's time for me to move on to my next project.
The tennis club?
The tennis club, and maybe some travel. Who knows?
Well, I hope you find what you are looking for.
And I hope you find your home here.
Okay, I should get going. I have a shift starting in 3 hours.
I'll walk you out. We can take the stairs down one flight to see the gym, if you have time.
Oh, sure. A quick look.
Great. Follow me. House, secure mode.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of that.
It makes you feel like a superhero, right?
A little bit. Or a villain in a movie.
As long as you pay the rent, you can be whatever you want.
Welcome to Daily English Conversations. In this series, you'll learn practical English phrases for use on social media and in everyday life.
Found the nicest shades at the new mall.
Don't you already have like 10 pairs?
Hottie. Looking good.
Isn't summer over soon? Let's review the key vocabulary. Hottie. Attractive person.
Like. Being similar to. Meaningless filler.
Shades. Slang word for sunglasses.
Over. Finish.
Looking good. Have a pleasant appearance. Let's review the key vocabulary. Do you remember how to say attractive person? Hottie. Hottie. And how to say
Being similar to. Meaningless filler.
Like. Like.
what about slang word for sunglasses? Shades. Shades. Let's try
Finish. Over. Over.
Now let's see if you remember how to say, have a pleasant appearance. Looking good. Looking good. Let's practice. After the sound, read the phrases out loud. Ready?
Found the nicest shades at the new mall.
Don't you already have like 10 pairs?
Hottie. Looking good.
Isn't summer over soon? Welcome to Daily English Conversations. In this series, you'll learn practical English phrases for use on social media and in everyday life. Here we go! Watching the Super Bowl tonight! Come on!
You're not forgetting dinner tonight, right? You sound psyched. We want to see photos.
Have fun, but don't get in a fight. Let's review the key vocabulary. Psyched. Enthusiastic.
Here we go.
Become prepared for an upcoming event.
Forget.
To not remember.
Photo.
Photograph, an image on paper.
Get in a fight. Involve in a conflict. Let's review the key vocabulary. Do you remember how to say enthusiastic? Psyched. Psyched. And how to say become prepared for an upcoming event.
Here we go. Here we go.
What about
To not remember. Forget. Forget.
let's try
Photograph, an image on paper.
Photo. Photo.
Now let's see if you remember how to say involve in a conflict. Get in a fight. Get in a fight. Let's practice. After the sound, read the phrases out loud. Ready? Here we go! Watching the Super Bowl tonight! Come on!
You're not forgetting dinner tonight, right? You sound psyched. We want to see photos.
Have fun, but don't get in a fight.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, we're going to look at gerunds and infinitives with 10 common verbs. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what even is an infinitive. What is a gerund? Let's break these two very important concepts down, and then we'll get into the main part of the lesson. First, let's look at the infinitive. What is an infinitive? So an infinitive is very simple. It's just the to verb form. So when you see to plus a verb, you're looking at the infinitive form. You might find this form of the verb if you look in a dictionary. This is called the infinitive form. So the infinitive form communicates the feeling of in order to do something, or it communicates a potential future action. So something that might happen in the future, something that is going to happen in the future, and so on. So this is the thing that infinitive refers to. Let's compare this to gerund. So a gerund is this form. So this verb plus ing. So you might think, isn't that the same thing as like the progressive form of a verb? And the answer is yes. On paper, the spelling is 100% the same. However, the key difference here is that a gerund, while it uses this same verb ing form, is taking the place of a noun. So we'll see this in our example sentences later today. So the key here is the grammatical position of the word is different. But yes, it does use that verb ing form, which is the same as the progressive form of a verb. So a gerund communicates an actual activity or an actual action, something that is happening or something that happened, and so on. So let's break down now some very common verbs, and let's take a look at when we use infinitives, when we use gerunds with these verbs, if we can use both, and so on. Because actually, in English, sometimes we have only an infinitive we can use with the verb. Sometimes we have only a gerund we can use. Sometimes we can use both, and sometimes we can use both, but the meaning changes. So as you can imagine, this is a lot of information to think about, and it takes some time to get used to which verbs take which form, and so on. So in this lesson, I'm going to break down some very common verbs and talk about some really important notes so that you can use them correctly. Okay, so let's get started by taking a look at the first verb over here. A very easy one, as you can see. The verb finish, the verb finish. We cannot use the verb finish with a to verb. We don't use finish to verb. We don't use it in this way. So let's talk about now the other side of this so that you can see how we should use finish when we're connecting to other verbs. We use the verb finish with a gerund. So what does this look like? Here are two example sentences. He finished working at 6. He finished working at 6. Working is the gerund in the ing form. Here, she'll finish cooking soon. She'll finish cooking soon. Here is the gerund, cooking. So in these sentences, again, we have the gerund form, and this is the only form that we can use with the verb finish. So if we imagine this, the same verbs with the verb finish over here, we cannot apply an infinitive rule. So for example, he finished to work at 6 is incorrect, and she'll finish to cook soon is also incorrect. So when you use the verb finish, make sure that you connect it to the next verb with this gerund form. Okay, so this is our first example. We'll go one by one through all of the examples like this and take a look at which form is appropriate for each verb. Okay, so let's take a look at the next verb. So the next verb is actually two verbs. We can use this same rule for the verbs start and begin. So start and begin can both be used with the infinitive after the verb. So our examples. The little girl started to cry. The little girl started to cry. Here's our infinitive verb, to cry. And we should begin to plan our next product. We should begin to plan our next product. So both of these example sentences contain the infinitive form, to cry and to plan. And they communicate some upcoming future action, or in this case, this action here, the little girl started to cry, is like saying it's the beginning of this future action. That's what we're communicating here. So let's compare this to using these with the gerund form. So start and begin can also be used with the gerund form. The little girl started crying, and we should begin planning our next product. So we can use both forms with these verbs, and they communicate the same idea. Okay, let's continue to our next verb. The next verb is stop. Stop. You'll notice I've marked this with a blue star. We have some special notes for this verb, but first let's take a look at the example sentences. First, let's stop to eat at this restaurant. Let's stop to eat at this restaurant. So imagine you're driving in a car, perhaps, and you see a restaurant that looks good for lunch. Let's stop to eat at this restaurant. So in other words, let's stop in order to eat at this restaurant. And our second example, he stopped to smoke. He stopped to smoke. So for example, he was walking down the street. He stopped walking in order to smoke. That's what this sentence communicates. So let's compare these example sentences with the infinitive form to the example sentences with the gerund form. Stop is an example of a verb that can take both the infinitive and the gerund forms. However, the meaning changes. So let's take a look at this. Our first example, let's stop eating at this restaurant. Let's stop eating at this restaurant. So we have stop and eating. Eating is our gerund. This sentence means we should not eat at this restaurant again. So stop eating at this restaurant means maybe we ate at this restaurant many times, but something happened this time. Maybe you go to the restaurant and there are bugs in the restaurant, or the food is terrible, or it's very expensive, or the staff is very rude. Something bad happens, and you say, let's stop eating at this restaurant. This is what the gerund form expresses. Remember, the infinitive form was, let's stop to eat at this restaurant, which means let's stop the car and go for food at this restaurant. This one communicates we don't want to eat here anymore. So this is a big change. Let's stop gerund communicates let's not do this thing any longer. Let's look at one more example. He stopped smoking. He stopped smoking. This sentence means he stopped the habit of smoking. So maybe he was a smoker, he smoked cigarettes for a very long time, and then one day he decided to change that habit. He stopped smoking. So this, again, is completely finishing a behavior. In our first example with the infinitive form, he stopped to smoke, this communicates stopping one action one time in order to do another action. However, with the gerund form, it means completely stopping or completely finishing an action. So please keep this in mind. Both are completely correct. Both example sets are completely correct, but stop takes the infinitive and the gerund and it communicates different ideas depending on which one you choose. So this is a very important one to keep in mind. Okay, let's continue to our next verb. The next verb is decide. Decide. Let's look at the first example. Decide. They decided to leave. They decided to leave. So in this situation, we have to leave as our infinitive verb. And in this case, we're communicating some upcoming action. There's a future action. They decided to leave. So that sounds like they are going to leave very soon. Our second example. She decided to move to a new house. She decided to move to a new house. So again, this sentence with to move in the infinitive communicates an upcoming action, a future action, something that is going to happen. She decided to move to a new house. So this is how we use the verb decide with the infinitive form. Over here, decide cannot be used with the gerund form. We cannot use the ing form after the verb decide. For example, they decided leaving is incorrect. Or she decided moving, also incorrect. We cannot use decide in the same way as we do with the infinitive form. So you don't have to worry about it here. Okay, great. Let's continue on to the next one. The next one is practice. Practice. So I've marked this with a red triangle to kind of show you a warning a little bit. So practice cannot be used in exactly the same way with the infinitive and the gerund forms. Actually, we use practice most of the time with the gerund form. I'll show you these example sentences in just a second. But there are a couple of sentence structures where we do see the infinitive form used with practice. So I want to start actually with the gerund form over here because it's more common with this verb. So let's take a look at how we use practice with the gerund. First example sentence. She practiced singing yesterday. She practiced singing yesterday. So in this sentence, singing is the activity for the practice. Okay? In the second example, we should practice cooking this. We should practice cooking this. So if you have a very complicated recipe, for example, you might say, we should practice cooking this. So again, cooking is the activity for practice, okay? So we are expressing some kind of activity that you want to do many times in order to get better at that thing. So we use the gerund form to do that. On the other hand, the infinitive, we don't really use the infinitive to do this. We don't say, she practiced to sing yesterday, or we should practice to cook this. This doesn't really communicate the same feel as we have with the gerund form. So we use the gerund form to talk about our practice activities. As I mentioned, however, there are a couple of sentence structures that we do see practice used with the infinitive, and those are sentences like these. In these sentences, we're not talking about the specific activity we're practicing. Actually, these sentences are just about the reason for practice. So let's look at what I mean. First, I need to practice to get better. I need to practice to get better. So this sentence means I need to practice in order to get better. Let's look at the second example. You should practice to improve your skills. So you should practice in order to improve your skills. So in sentence patterns like these, where the focus is on our actual improvement of skills, where we're building the skills, we can use the infinitive form in this way. However, when you want to talk about the actual subject you're practicing, you should use the gerund form. So this is a very important and key difference with the verb practice. So we use them in different ways. Okay, great. Let's continue on to the next group. The next group is actually 3. I have like, love, and hate here. And we can also use other emotion and mental state related verbs, but I want to focus on these 3 because they are very common in everyday communication. So we can use like, love, and hate with the infinitive form and with the gerund form, and there's no change in meaning. So that's hopefully a relief for you. You don't have to worry so much about these verbs. Let's take a look. So first, he loves to hike. He loves to hike. And she hates to lose. She hates to lose. And We like to watch movies. We like to watch movies. So all of these communicate this idea of something that we feel emotional about, some kind of regular activity that we enjoy or that we dislike. We can do the same thing with the gerund form, and it's perfectly correct. He loves hiking. He loves hiking. She hates losing. She hates losing. And we like watching movies. We like watching movies. So these sentences, no matter which one you choose, you are going to communicate the same idea. So this form and this form, there's really not a difference between the two. So I hope that this one gives you a sense of relief. You don't have to worry so much about this. Okay, let's move on to the next one though. The next few are some very intense topics, so we have a lot to talk about here. So first, let's take a look at the verb remember. Remember. So our example sentences. He remembered to buy milk. He remembered to buy milk. And we didn't remember to watch the movie. We didn't remember to watch the movie. So here, infinitive form, he remembered to buy. Okay? So in other words, another way to say this is he did not forget to buy milk, right? He remembered to buy milk, and we didn't remember to watch the movie. We didn't remember to watch the movie. We have the infinitive forms here. Okay, so these sentences, the meaning is pretty clear, I think, right? So these are actions we remembered to do, right? Let's compare this, though, to the gerund use of remember, because we communicate something very different here. He remembered buying milk. He remembered buying milk. This sentence means he remembered the activity of buying milk. That means he remembers his actions. He remembers going to the store and talking to the staff at the store and giving them money and taking the milk home. He remembered all of that. He remembered the activity of buying milk. Okay? This is what this sentence communicates with the gerund form. He remembered that action, that specific action. Second example, we didn't remember watching the movie. We didn't remember watching the movie. So this sentence, again, we have the negative here. This sentence means we, the speakers, the group of people, they do not remember the activity of watching the movie. So this sounds like they watched a movie, but they don't remember any of it. They don't remember. Maybe they were very tired, or maybe there was some other thing happening. They were very stressed out or something like that. So they do not remember the activity, the action of watching the movie. That is what this grammar choice, this gerund here communicates this idea, that the specific action itself is the thing that the person does not remember. So this is a key difference with the gerund form and the infinitive. Here we're talking about the action, remembering to do a thing, and on the other hand, we're talking about the experience itself. So this is a key difference here. We're going to see this again with the next verb as well. So this is our first one. Let's look at a similar pattern that we have with our next verb then. The verb forget is the same idea as remember, it's just the opposite, right? Remember and forget. We have the same rule that applies. So let's look at our examples. He forgot to meet me. He forgot to meet me. So here we have our infinitive. He forgot to meet. He forgot to meet me. So in this case, some activity, some meeting was scheduled and he forgot. So I was planning to meet him, he forgot. Okay? So this is just one action, a one-time thing. He forgot to do this action. Second example, she forgot to email the file. She forgot to email the file. So I had a plan to email the file or something, or she had a plan to email the file. She forgot. She forgot to do that action. So we have this same feeling that we just talked about with remember. Yes, this was a one-time thing. He forgot to meet me this one time. And she forgot to email this thing the one time. On the other hand, when we use the gerund form here, we're talking about the whole experience, forgetting the whole experience. So, he forgot meeting me. He forgot meeting me means we met maybe a long time ago, but he forgot. So this has probably happened to many people. You meet someone one time very quickly in the past, and maybe you meet them again in the future, and you're like, who are you? Sorry, I don't remember meeting you, or I forgot meeting you. So this means the experience of meeting that person, the complete experience is gone. You forgot about that. Let's look at our second example. She forgot emailing the file. She forgot emailing the file. This means she did email the file. She emailed the file, but she forgot about doing it. She forgot. She was doing lots of different things that day at work. She forgot about that specific experience of emailing the file. So we can use this to talk about entire experiences we forget. Sometimes there's just part of our day we don't remember, right? We can express that with this. So forget and remember take this same kind of special meaning when we have the gerund form, and we use them in the infinitive form just to talk about those one-time actions that we forget or remember. Okay, great. Let's continue on to our last two verbs. We have some more notes to talk about here, but they're very important. So let's talk about how we use go with the gerund now, because it is very different, but it's also correct to use go with the gerund form of a verb. So we use go with gerunds generally when we're talking about an activity like hobbies or sports, things that we like to do outside the house. We can use the gerund form to express this. For example, they went surfing. They went surfing. So this expresses an activity they left their home to do. They went surfing. Second example, she goes swimming once a month. She goes swimming once a month. So it sounds kind of unnatural to use the infinitive form here, as in she goes to swim once a month. We usually use the gerund form when we talk about our hobbies or our activities. On the other hand, if we try to use the gerund form in these sentences, it sounds very, very strange. It's not correct, so don't use it. For example, he went buying milk an hour ago. Don't use that, it's not correct. And she went picking up her friend, also not correct. We cannot use those. So please keep in mind that when we use go and we're talking about our errands and our everyday tasks, we use the infinitive to express that. If you want to talk about your hobbies, your favorite activities and sports, use the gerund to express that. Okay, great. We're almost at the end. Let's talk about our last verb here. So the last verb is try. Try. There are a couple of different uses I want to talk about in this lesson. So I first want to talk about how we use try to mean attempt something. So let's look at our example. He tried to cook dinner. He tried to cook dinner. So we can understand this as he attempted to cook dinner. He did his best to cook dinner. So here we have to cook as the infinitive. He tried to cook dinner. Okay? Second example. They tried to unlock the door. They tried to unlock the door. So again, they attempted to unlock the door is what this means. So we can use this use of try with the gerund form as well. So he tried cooking dinner. He tried cooking dinner. So he attempted cooking dinner. He attempted the task of cooking dinner. And they tried unlocking the door. So they attempted this action, right? They attempted the action of unlocking the door. So we can use try in this way to talk about attempting to do things. This is totally fine. However, there are some situations in which it doesn't sound good to use the gerund form with try. And that's when, I'll move to this side, that's when we use try to talk about our habits. So for example, in this example sentence, it says, I try to exercise 3 times a week. I try to exercise 3 times a week. We use this to talk about our future actions, right? As we discussed earlier. We're talking about something that we do as part of our everyday routine or our regular weekly routine. We cannot use try in this way with the gerund form. For example, I try exercising 3 times a week. That sounds very strange because we generally use try to refer to attempts when we use the gerund form. I try exercising 3 times a week. Sounds quite strange. And our second example, she tries to save money every month. She tries to save money every month as a habit. So if we say she tries saving money every month, it sort of sounds like one big experience that she attempts each month. It doesn't really communicate the feeling of a habit that we have when we use the infinitive form. So if you want to express a habit to talk about something you always try to do each month, use the infinitive form. If you want to talk about attempting something, you can use the gerund form or the infinitive form to do that. Phew. All right, that was a lot of information, I know. Gerunds and infinitives have lots and lots of possibilities. And if you feel kind of confused, that's okay. There's a lot of information to take in. This is one of those things that just takes time and practice. I really recommend you do some reading practice, of course, and do some listening practice as well to get the feel for which is most natural to use, infinitive form or gerund form. In this lesson, I covered some very, very common verbs, and there are lots and lots of other verbs out there, but the truth is that we have to look at each verb on a case-by-case basis because, as we saw, there are some verbs that just take some special care. So I hope this lesson gave you a good introduction to gerunds and infinitives, and you have some good ideas about how you can use them with these common verbs. But of course, if you have any other questions, or if you want to practice making some example sentences, or just leave a comment, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you like this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, we're going to look at some expressions you can use for catching up with someone. We're going to take a look at some questions and responses, and we're going to break down the different grammar points we use in these situations and see how they work together. So let's get started. First, let's take a look at this first set of questions. These are very common questions we use to start a catch-up conversation. So this is a conversation with a person you probably haven't seen for some time. We typically use present perfect tense to start these conversations. So the first question we commonly use is, how have you been? How have you been? So this question means, since the last time we saw each other in the past until now, what was your condition? So this period of time in which we did not meet, we did not see each other, we did not contact each other, in that time, how were you? Or how were you from that point until now? So we ask this how have you been question generally at the beginning of a catch-up session. To respond to that, we usually use I've been adjective. I've been adjective. Some very common ones are good. I've been good. I've been okay. I've been all right. I've been busy. I've been tired. And one more, I've been swamped. You might hear this one used too. Swamped means very, very busy and kind of overwhelmed. It's too much. Generally, we just say good. Good. And you'll notice here I have parentheses around I've been. Sometimes we just respond to this question with the adjective. How have you been? Good. How have you been? Okay. How have you been? Busy. And so on. So you can use I've been if you want to create a full sentence, but generally, because it's just quick and easy, we just say the adjective to respond. How have you been? Good. Okay, let's look at the next present perfect question. Next is, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? So again, we're using present perfect tense in this question. That means, again, since the last point in time that we met to now. What were you doing? What were your activities? That's what this question is asking, but in a very casual way. What have you been up to? What have you been up to? At native speed, this sounds very fast. It sounds like, what have you been up to? Or maybe even, what you been up to? So how do we respond to this question? To respond to this question, we use I've been, verb plus the ing ending here. So some examples of this are, I've been working. I've been studying. I've been hanging out. So this means nothing special, really, just hanging out, spending time with my friends. I've been hanging out. I've been sitting at my computer, or I've been taking care of my kids, or I've been visiting family. So again, we're using this present perfect grammar structure here. I've been ing form. And yes, you'll notice this is present perfect continuous we're using to respond to this. What have you been up to? I've been ing form. So we use this ing form to show that the action started in the past and has been continuing for some time. That's why we're using the continuous to respond to this question, as opposed to just basic present perfect tense, something else. So this continuous form sounds very natural to reply with. What have you been up to? Working. So you can also just drop the I've been here too. It's very natural to do that. What have you been up to? Studying a lot. Or what have you been up to? Taking care of my kids. I've been so busy, and so on. So you can use these two together. It's very natural to use these two together. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next question is a little bit more specific then. So, how has noun phrase been going? How has noun phrase been going? In this sentence, the noun phrase is something you know about the other person. Something they were working on, something they were struggling with, something they were interested in, something you remember about your past conversations with that person. You want to ask about an update with that. So, for example, these are very, very common ones. How has work been going? How has school been going? How has business been going? And you'll notice with these two, how has work, how has school, how has business been going? These are all kind of ongoing things, and they're also activities, right? So we don't use a person here. Like we don't say, how has your wife been going? Or something like that. We don't use that. We use activities, kinds of activities and things that we do on a daily basis here. So maybe there's like a sport or a hobby or something like that the other person does. You could use that here. Like, how has your photography class been going? And so on. These three are probably the most common. So, how do we respond to this question? We can respond, again, with a very similar pattern. It's been adjective. It's been adjective. This is almost the same as the first one here, but the key difference is we're using it's here in the subject. It's been adjective. Here we said I've been adjective to talk about your condition. This uses it's been to talk about this thing, the condition of this thing. So, for example, how has work been going? It's been good, or it's been the same, or it's been crazy, or it's been busy, it's been hard, it's been interesting, it's been weird, and it's been amazing. So you can choose lots and lots of different adjectives here to give some information about the status, the recent status of that activity. So keep in mind, if you choose something like weird or hard or something like that, you should probably be prepared to explain a little bit more in detail about that. But generally, you can just use an adjective, or you can use the full sentence, it's been the same. It's been good. Okay, let's look at our last question that uses present perfect tense. So, the last one is, have you been verbing lately? Have you been verbing lately? So this is another type of question you can use to ask about someone else's activity. So this question is different from this question because this one is a simple yes or no question. Have you been doing that thing I know that you used to do lately? For example, have you been working out lately? Have you been cooking lately? Have you been traveling lately? Have you been working a lot lately? And so on. So you can use these little key points you remember from the last conversation and ask if they are still doing those things. So to respond to this, what should we say? This is a yes or no question, right? So we can respond with yes, a little bit, and no, and the different spectrum. There's a different group of, or rather there are different types of answers we can use here. So have you been working out lately? For example, yes, all the time, all the time. So all the time, this is something that we use to mean yes, very often, very often. But all the time sounds more casual and more friendly than yes, often. Often sounds a little formal here. Or you could say here and there, which is a casual way to say sometimes. Same thing with now and then, now and then. So have you been traveling lately? Now and then. So this means sometimes. Both of these mean sometimes. Then if you are not doing something very much, you can say, I haven't been verbing much lately. I haven't been verbing much lately. So have you been cooking lately? I haven't been cooking much lately, no. Or one more, no, I stopped verbing at a past point in time. So for example, have you been working out lately? No, I stopped working out about 3 months ago. I got really busy. So you can express that something stopped as well with this pattern. No, I stopped in past point in time. Okay, so these are generally some of the most common questions that we use to start these catch-up conversations, and these are typically the responses that you can use. So they're very quick and very short, right? And then after you've finished this thing, there's your first opportunity for a how about you question. So you can go, how have you been? Yeah, I've been good. How about you? I've been good. And then continue on to the next part of the conversation. So after one of these, generally this question is the first one that you can finish with, how about you? You can follow that up with just asking the same question to the other person. And then for more detailed follow-up questions, we will change grammar points. So let's get into this next. So I have a couple different groups, a couple different categories of follow-up questions. First, let's take a look at follow-ups that use simple past tense. So the first one is, did you verb, or did you ever verb. So this ever is useful when you know the other person had some plan. You knew about some plan they had, like to change jobs, to move to another house, something like that, and you want to ask if they did that thing. So, did you ever verb? For example, did you ever move to a new house? Or did you ever change jobs? Or did you ever sell your car? So this use of ever also is typically used after a long time, like you haven't seen someone for a very long time, maybe a year or more. You have a lot to talk about. If you saw the person like last month, it sounds too short, like that's too short of a time period to use ever. We typically use this over a long period of time. So if you just want to ask if the person did something, just drop ever from the sentence. It's still 100% correct. So did you move to a new house? Or did you change jobs? Or did you sell your car? That's just a simple, basic past tense structure. That's totally fine to use. For more emphasis on the long period of time, include ever here. So, simple past tense question. How do we respond to this? We respond with yes, I past tense verb. So, yes, I moved. Or yes, I changed jobs. Or yes, I sold my car. So that's a very simple, straightforward, clear answer. Yes, I did, in other words. You can also say not yet. Not yet, I'm planning to. So this shows that although there's no change at this point in time, there will be a change in the future. And finally, nope, I decided not to. No, I decided not to. So we still have this past tense in our response. I decided not to. So this not to means I decided not to do this thing. I decided not to move to a new house. I decided not to change jobs, and so on. But we finish with this to. This is okay in casual conversations. Okay, let's take a look at one more simple past tense question then. When did you start verbing? When did you start verbing? So this is a simple past tense question. When did you start that new activity? So when did you start working at your new job? When did you start taking classes? When did you start working out? So we use this ing form after the verb start. Start. So we're connecting these two verbs together. Start plus the other activity. When did you start? The answer for this is very simple. I started at past point in time. I started past point in time. I started last summer. I started 2 weeks ago. I started about a year ago. So we can use a very, very simple past tense answer here and just put the point in time at which we started the activity there. All right, let's move on to the next kind of category, grammar category, which is present progressive or present continuous questions and responses. So when you want to move the conversation to the things that are happening now, you can use this question. So, what are you verbing on now? What are you verbing on now? For example, what are you working on now? Or what are you making now? What are you doing now? I have this on here because we tend to use working on a lot in this question to mean generally what kinds of projects or what kinds of activities. So on is in parentheses here. We don't need to use it with making or doing though. So what are you verbing now? The answer also uses this same progressive form. I'm working on new software. Or I'm making a website. Or I'm taking language classes. So again, we're using the progressive form to show that that activity is continuing. We've asked with the progressive form as well to show that we expect there's a continuing action happening too. Okay, great. So finally, I want to take a look in this category at this question too. Are you still verbing? Are you still verbing? This is extremely similar to this one that we talked about earlier. Have you been verbing lately? So this is one that we use to talk about past activities or activities that started in the past and continue to the present. This one, are you still verbing, is asking, is that a present activity for you? And this still shows that you remember that was the other person's activity in the past. So, for example, if you know your friend really liked cooking, you might say to them, are you still cooking a lot? Which means today, at this point in time, is that an activity you are doing? Using still shows you remember that that was their favorite activity or something like that. So still can help you to express that you remember something about the other person. Are you still cooking? Are you still traveling a lot? Are you still working a lot? And so on. So this question, actually, we can respond to it with the same answers that we practiced earlier. Yes, all the time, here and there, now and then, and other adverbs of frequency. Yes, sometimes, and so on. So this is a very straightforward, easy yes or no question. All right, let's go to the last point for today's lesson, future tense questions. So when you're catching up with someone, maybe you tend to start with the past, right? What did you do? What have you been doing? And so on. How is this? How is that? And then you talk about what's coming up next, right? So how do you ask about someone's future plans? Here's a very general question you can use. What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? So we use going to here because we're asking the other person about the plans they have already decided for themselves. We do not use what will you do next? We don't use this because that doesn't sound like a plan the other person made. We use will, those grammar points, when we're not sure about something or when we've just decided that thing. So if you ask this question, what are you going to do next? It's going to prompt, or they're probably going to reply with their next planned activity. For example, I'm going to start a new company. I'm going to start a new company. Or I'm going to relax. I'm going to relax. Or if they're not sure, you might get a response like this. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably do some research. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably do some research. Here you'll notice I've used will. I will. This is the reduced form of I will. I will probably do some research. We like to use I will probably do this and this and this when we're not 100% sure, but we have an idea. I'll probably do this. So you might see will used in response to this question when someone is not 100% sure about their activities. Okay, great. So we've covered a lot of different grammar points, but we use all of these together to catch up with someone. So as I said, we typically start from the past, we catch up on the things we missed, and then we talk about what's happening now, and then we talk about what they're going to do in the future. So I hope that this lesson helps you to see how these different grammar points work together and helps you to understand some of the small key differences in the questions and in the responses that we looked at in this lesson. So I hope that this helped you a lot, and I hope that you can use this in your catch-up conversations with your friends, your family members, your classmates, and so on. All right, so that will be the end of this lesson, but I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some example conversations, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you like this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson we're going to talk about the verb turn. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic definition of the verb turn. The basic definition of turn is to change the direction of movement or to change the direction one is facing. Some examples. Turn left at the next stoplight. She turned to the door. Now let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, turn, turns. Past, turned. Past participle, turned. Progressive, turning. Now let's talk about some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning is to move in a circle from a fixed point. Some examples. Turn the key in the lock to open the door. He turned the handle and rolled down the window. So this use refers to something making a circular motion, turning in a circular motion, this motion, from a fixed point. So a fixed point means that the center of that circle, or like a center line there, does not move. So that means that this always turns in the same place or the same location, but we make a circular motion in some way. The first example sentence is about a key. So turn the key in the lock refers to making a circular turning, this turning motion, a circular motion in a fixed place. So this does not move, but inside this fixed place, we make this circular motion with a key. So turn the key in the lock to open the door. The second example sentence, maybe you need to know about older cars to imagine this, but in this case, he turned the handle and rolled down the window. In older cars, we saw windows that had a handle, so we had to make this motion in a car to roll the window down. So we use turn to talk about this. The handle in the car is attached to the car, so it's in a fixed position, and we turn the handle in order to roll the window down. So we use turn in this way to talk about these circular motions from a point that is set, that is unmoving. Let's move along to the next additional meaning. The next meaning is to move to the next page in a book or other document. Examples. She quickly turned to the next page. Please turn to page 10 and begin reading. So this use of turn is very commonly used for books, for newspapers, for any kind of paper document, something that we can read, a physical document, or you might see it used in digital books as well. So to turn means to move from one page to another page. You might also see turn over used, like turn over the paper and read the other side, for example, but when you're reading a physical book and you want to talk about your progression of pages, when you want to talk about this sort of motion, moving to the next page, we typically use the verb turn the page. The first example sentence was, she quickly turned to the next page. So if you're really excited about a book or you want to describe someone who is, you could say, she quickly turned to the next page. So that means making this motion very quickly to move to the next page in a book. The second example sentence is perhaps something you would hear in a classroom. Please turn to page 10 and begin reading. So that means please open your book, turn until you find page 10 and begin reading there. So turn to a specific page number is something you might also hear. The next additional meaning is to use a switch to control something. Some examples. Turn up the volume. Turn down the volume. Turn off the TV. So as you can see from these example sentences, this use of turn uses a lot of prepositions. When we talk about using some kind of switch to control something else, we use prepositions like up, or off, or on, or down. So in an example sentence like turn up the volume, it means use a switch to control the volume using this motion, a turning motion, often, not always. But we use the verb turn to talk about increasing volume. So turn up the volume. The opposite, turn down the volume, means use a switch to control the volume and decrease the volume. In the example sentence, turn off the TV, it means use the controls on the TV and power off. So turn the power off. So means like don't use the TV, turn off the TV. So I mentioned that this is used for switches. So switch, of course, can mean a physical like button or a dial that you can turn. But now, of course, with like smartphones as well, we have screens we can use. So we can think of these sort of like switches. There are other methods of controlling things, other kind of technologies. Even though there's not a switch, like like an actual button to push, we still use turn up, turn down, turn on, and turn off to talk about our activities with these kinds of things. So you can still use it. Some interesting combinations that you might hear, for example, turn down the TV or turn up the TV. This actually refers to the volume of something. So some people might say turn up the TV. That means turn up the volume on the TV. The same thing in reverse. Turn down the TV means turn down the volume, decrease the volume on the TV. So when you hear this turn used along with some kind of machinery, listen for that preposition. Turn up, turn off, turn down, turn on. So there are quite a few examples that you can use here. But they basically talk about controlling things. The next additional meaning is to become, to become. Some examples. The weather turned ugly. His attitude turned from excited to disappointed when he heard the news. So turn means become in these cases. The weather turned ugly. We can substitute become for turn in this example sentence. The weather became ugly. So that means the weather was good and then it became bad. We just use turn to describe that change. You can choose become or turn, but become is going to sound a lot more formal than turn. For a more casual expression, you could use get, actually. The weather got ugly. That's a great one, too. But you may hear turn to refer to becoming. So in the second example sentence, his attitude turned from excited to disappointed when he heard the news means his attitude became disappointed. His attitude changed from excited to disappointed. We use turn here to mean became in this case. So if you want to, you can describe these kinds of changes with the verb turned, but you might hear become or, as I said, get as well. So you can use turn to talk about these changes or to mean become, but it's just one of a few different choices that you might hear. You might hear turn, become, change, or get, for example, but they all refer to this kind of change taking place or one thing becoming something else. Let's move along to some variations now. The first variation is to turn someone or something in. This means to present or to submit something that is expected. Some examples. Please turn in your homework by tomorrow morning. A neighbor turned in the burglar who broke into our house. So to turn something in refers to presenting or submitting something you are expected to provide. So this is very common in classroom situations. The teacher will say, please turn in your homework. That means please present your homework. I am expecting you to present your homework, so please give it to me. So please turn in your homework. Very commonly used in education settings. We see turn in used for people in typically like police-related situations or crime-related situations. In this case, the neighbor turned in the burglar who broke into our house. That means the neighbor brought to the police the burglar who broke into our house. So for some reason, the neighbor caught the person who broke into the speaker's house and brought that person to the police station. So to turn someone in refers to presenting a person, but to police specifically. So when you're talking about those kinds of situations, like crime situations, you'll hear turn someone in used to talk about a person being presented to the police. You can also use this verb reflexively, like the burglar turned himself or herself in to the police. So you can choose to present yourself if you have committed a crime. We would say to turn oneself in. The next variation is to turn someone or something over to someone. This means to give someone responsibility for someone or something. Some examples. I'm going to turn this project over to you. The police turned the suspect over to the legal team. So this means you are passing responsibility for a thing or a person to someone else. The first example sentence, I'm going to turn this project over to you, means I'm going to pass you the responsibility for this project. That means you get to make all the decisions. I want you to make the choices. You have the responsibility. I'm going to turn this project over to you. The second example is about a person. The police turned the suspect over to the legal team. This means the police originally had control of the suspect, but the police turned over the suspect to the legal team. That means the police passed responsibility for the suspect to the legal team. So in the beginning, the police had control, authority over this person, but they gave that to the legal team. So you might hear this used when there's a new person joining a company and that person needs to be trained, for example. You might hear it in like legal situations, like I've talked about in the second example sentence here, or you might just hear it used for like supervising situations in general, like in events, for example. So to turn someone over to someone else means to be in charge of another person. Okay. So those are hopefully a few new ways for you to use the verb turn. As I've said, there are lots of different ways to use turn with prepositions, so please check out a dictionary for some more information. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making a sentence with the verb turn, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Turn off the camera! Turn it off! What's the best way to speak and understand more of the language? Simple. Learn more words. But with all the words in your target language, where do you even start? And if you're a beginner, which words should you learn first? You're about to find out. How to boost your vocabulary with the 2,000 most common words list and reach conversational fluency. In this video, you'll learn 1. All about our 2,000 most common words list, 2. How to start building your vocabulary, and 3. How to learn even faster with special study tools. But first, if you don't yet have access to this tool, just click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. So, what is this word list, and how does it help language learners boost their vocabulary? The 2,000 most common words list is a premium study tool that gives you 2,000 of the most commonly used words. According to experts, you need to know about 1,500 words for conversational fluency, so 2,000 is more than enough for any language learner. First, here's how it works. This 2,000 word list is divided into simple categories, such as verbs, adjectives, everyday words, numbers, and days of the week. Plus, smaller lists like the core 100 words, core 500 words, and so on, so you can easily learn without getting overwhelmed. Next, each word in the word list comes with the meaning, the audio pronunciation, sample sentences, and an image, so that you fully understand each word. Now, here's how you take full advantage of this powerful study tool. First, start with a category, like everyday words, or the core 100 word list. If you want to get acquainted with the vocab, click on View Slideshow to see all of the words in an interactive slideshow. By the way, the core 100 word list is 100% free for all users. Next, if you want to learn these words even faster or save them for later review, click on Add All Words and send them to your word bank, or select a desired few, click on Add Selected Words and send them to your word bank. The word bank is your personal list of words and phrases, all in one spot. You can also use it to create and print physical study sheets. To learn these words faster, study with flashcards, a guaranteed way to memorize words fast. Just click on Add All Words, or Add Selected Words if you only want to send a few, and then click New Deck under Flashcards. This deck will now be waiting for you inside the flashcards. So take advantage of the 2,000 most common words list. Find it in the vocabulary drop-down menu on the site. Remember, you can use this powerful feature with the word bank and flashcards. Access it right now. Learn new words easily and reach conversational fluency with the 2,000 most common words list. If you don't yet have access to this tool, just click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Now that you're finished with this lesson, don't forget, as a free bonus, you get over 30 conversation cheat sheets, but only if you sign up via the link in the description. You'll learn how to have flowing conversations and how to answer the most common questions. You can also print out these colorful cheat sheets to keep as physical study material. So don't miss out on this free gift. Click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get your PDF cheat sheets.